everyone, it's Misty here from TheJollyFatElf. Welcome to another day in my 2022 holiday card series. Thank you so much for joining me. In today's video, we are mass producing. Well, I'm mass producing. So I'm going to be using some of the products that I picked up from Amazon and making some card sets. These will be available in my Etsy shop within the next couple of days or the next week or so. I just need to get them all together. This footage may be a little choppy because I also did this black set and then I did like a more blue and red set. I have a Carl cutter. It's a big cutter and I cut all of the paper crooked. All of it. All the cardstock, all of the pattern paper, all of it is crooked. So for that set, I'm gonna have to go through and straighten out every piece of paper. A part of me is like, Misty, do you just wanna like let it go? Let it go, let it go. And I'm like, no, it's so much paper. So I've got to figure that out. Maybe I'll film that if you guys are interested. But in this video, we're going to be working on the black set. Before we get into that though, if you haven't subscribed, I hope you'll consider doing so and follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Misty Pans. If you want, clearly my brain was broken at this point. This is for TheJollyFatElf. I do have it at Misty Pans though. If you're interested in makeup, I also have a Misty channel. I think it's linked down below. Oof. Want to see more content from me, be sure that you subscribe to the Stamp Anything YouTube channel, which I will have linked in the description box down below. I'm on there every Friday and then I do the 3 release previews. I am a design team member for them and I'm having such a good time. So yeah, anyway, that is enough jibber jabber for me. Let's head over to the craft table and we'll get started. Well, before we get too far into this, I just want to let you know that this didn't happen all in one day. This was over several days. I did all of the tags first, and then I cut all the cardstock on a different day and put it together on a different day. So this was probably over 3 or 4 days. So the trick when you're mass producing is to do each step at a time. And I've mentioned that before. So I sat down and I did all of my tags first. You can probably see up at the top, you can see some of the blue ones done. I'm not sharing the blue ones. Like as I mentioned in the beginning, I messed that paper up. I don't know what I'm going to do to fix it. I may just try to die cut it with like a, what's it called? A square die cut, like a stitched rectangle die or something, just so I can have something that's straight, because fixing this black paper took all of the patience I had in my world. I have a Carl cutter and you'll see it a little bit later. It doesn't have like the magnet or the thing that you use to kind of block off where you want to cut. It's only 6 inches. It doesn't go the entire length of the cutter. And so it's easy to get it knocked off track or scooted over just a little bit. And that caused everything to be uneven. Plus the paper from Miss Kate's Cuttables is very, very slick. I'm not sure what kind of paper they use. I do know I believe it's laser printed. So that makes it have some shine, but it's a very slick paper. So take with that what you will. And they offer 6x6 pads. I just wanted something that would be a little bit easier for me to deal with. And at the end of the day, I probably should have just gone with the 6x6 pad. But if you cut your pattern paper down to 4 by 5 1/4, you can get 6 card layers out of one 12 by 12 sheet of paper. So I'm taking some tear and tape and I'm just tearing and taping. This is what I'm going to adhere my twine to. You don't need this much. Just wasn't really paying attention, and I think I was talking to my brother and my nephew while I was doing this. So you can see some of them are like what they should be and some of them aren't. I apologize that I have the yawns. I'm filming this a little later in the day and I just took some medicine, so I have the yawns and I apologize. So once I got all of the tearing tape attached to all of the tags, I went back and I went over it with the bone folder just to make sure it was down. And then I used my Tim Holtz craft pick again. And I just wrapped twine around 2 times, cut the twine, make sure it was attached, and then set it off to the side. And again, this was a step I did. So I did every single tag that I had in either this twine or is it raffia? Whatever that rope twine is called. I honestly don't remember what it's called. My brain is broken. But, and this is a completely an extra step that you can skip if you wanted to. Again, I just wanted something on the background and I wanted to spruce these up a little bit more. But they're fine on their own. If you're going to use them without like anything behind it, I would pick a smaller pattern. That's the only thing. And that's the reason why I really wanted them mounted on a solid tag, because I wanted there to be some contrast between this and then the larger patterns that are on the background paper. Whew. So once I got all the twine on everything, I went through and I added, this is the Scotch mounting foam, and I just cut off a big piece and then went through until I couldn't cut anymore, and then picked up another piece and kept going. And then here is a look at all of the black tags once they were done. And you can see that some of them have raffia, some of them have the twine, but I really, really love the addition of that. I think these are fun and I like the way they turned out. Ended up with 6 different black tags, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there are 6, but here are some of the red ones. And I was basically just kind of putting them in their piles so I could pick the paper that I wanted to go with them. So I think you can kind of see how shiny this paper is. It's very, 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 very slick, very, very shiny. So for the blue tags, I decided I wanted to do red and white paper. So it's kind of like an aqua and red and white. You guys know I love that color palette. And then for the black ones, I decided to go with paper that had black accents, but was like had a white base. So the pattern was white, and then it went on top of it. So here I'm trying to decide if I want to do them horizontally or if I want to cut them vertically. If you're using pattern paper that has a top and a bottom like this one, where it has a pattern that goes in one direction, you really have to make that decision before you even get started cutting, because it'll determine how you cut your paper. So for something like this that doesn't have an up and down, or doesn't run vertically or horizontally, it's something that I could cut no problem. Well, other than the trimmer, but you know what I mean. So that's true for any card. If if you're unsure if you're going to do it vertically or horizontally, you have to decide that before you cut paper. So I'm just going through and picking some patterns. Like I said, I really love the patterns in this paper, but again, very, very slick, very not easy to use. So here's the curl cutter, and you can see that doesn't quite go all the way to the top, and this is kind of where things go south. Things go south. And that's just that's just true life. Real life happens. Crafting in real life, I say that all the time. And you can see over to the left how it's moving, but it's more when I'm cutting it the other way that it really becomes an issue. So I don't know if Carl has made whatever this is called that goes all the way to the top, or if they haven't. I need to look into that, because if not, it kind of makes this and you can see here I'm having a hard time kind of lining it up, because it doesn't go all the way to the top, and I'm trying to figure out if I have a good spot. So I'm cutting several sheets at a time. That's the one reason why I wanted to use this cutter, because my Fisker's trimmer is okay, but I can only cut like 2 pieces at a time. And with the Carl one, I can cut way more than that. But again, you can already see that it's shifted a little. And again, I either didn't notice that, or I was paying more attention to what was closest to me. And so it's a little crooked. And here I am straightening it up again, trying to straighten it up again. And it just, yeah. Oh, well, Live, learn, then get loves, right? If you've never heard that commercial, that's a diaper commercial. It's stuck in my head. I apologize. That was stuck in my head. So again, I just went through and cut all of the the pattern paper at 4 by 5 1/4. Then I'm going to cut a red and black cardstock to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So you'll get 6 pieces of pattern paper out of a 12 by 12 if you use those measurements, and you will still get 4 layers out of cardstock if you do 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So I'm just kind of separating them into the red and the blue, and I'll do some more later. I do that off camera. I sat at the table and did the rest of them. And here I am just kind of dividing up the patterns. So you'll end up with 6 of each, basically, if you do 1 sheet of paper. So here's a look at the desk. You can see all of the twine and stuff around me. And so I went ahead and brought in the patterns and to decide which tag I wanted to go on which pattern. So I am there, like I said, there's six, I believe. Yeah. Maybe not. I don't remember. This was several weeks ago now. But I just wanted to make sure that I had all of the card layers accounted for and in a stack, and that way I could pick whatever ones I wanted to go on top. Again, love the papers. Love the papers. I think they're so cute and fun, but I just didn't care I don't like how slick they are, and I don't like how shiny they are. But at the end of the day, that's on me. I mean, when I print paper on a laser printer, mine turns out shiny as well, so beggars can't be choosers sometimes. I don't want an inkjet printer that just turns out to be an issue. So here I am cutting more paper. Crooked. Yeah. You're like, Misty, we get it. You cut paper crooked. Move on with your life. Okay, let's move on. So I'm going to go ahead and decide where I want my tags, and it's just kind of what matches behind it. I knew I wanted Santa with the stockings because to me that made the most sense, because he, there's normally stockings when he comes, depending on your traditions, I guess. I wanted the car with the hearts because I ended up with the car somewhere else. But initially I thought with the hearts it would work. It really is just up to what you feel looks better with your eye. This part is not something I can really help you with. Once I decide, I take a picture because my brain. That is another hint. If you work on a layout or something with your cards, feel free to take a picture to kind of remind yourself what you had in mind. And that especially works out if you're someone like me who maybe sits down and doesn't necessarily do a pattern, but you want to know where your dies and stuff are going to go. So the sticky notes are just for me because I was trying to make sure I had enough cardstock layers to go with the cardstock. And again, I cut the cardstock to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and the pattern paper is cut to 4 by 5 1/4. And these are going on white note cards that measure 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So initially I'm going to start adhering with liquid glue, and then I eventually move on to tape runner. Liquid glue, I feel like liquid glue slows me down, and I think some people would say the exact opposite of that. But for me, I just feel like it goes slow. And plus I am super messy with it, and trying not to get glue everywhere is sometimes a challenge. So I do a couple like these just to show you what my plan is, but after this I switch to tape runner. So my next step after getting all of those layers adhered is to score my note cards. Again, I picked these up off Amazon. They were out of stock the last time I looked. But if you just search A2 size note cards with envelopes and look for a heavier weight, these are, I believe, 80 pound. And I bought, they came in 200, 100, and I bought 400 of them. And I have to tell you, I'm getting good use out of these. And the reason why I went for white is so I wouldn't have to add a white layer on the inside. So this really does kind of save me a step. And I really appreciate that. So here I'm just making sure that things are lining up the way they should before I try to start gluing stuff down. And then we're going to get these glued down, and that's going to be the next step. So again, using tape runner, you can use whatever adhesive that you like, whatever you want to use. And again, remember, if it has a pattern that goes a certain direction, make sure that you're adhering these correctly. These are going to open from right to left, so open like a book. And I had to make sure, especially with the stockings, that they were adhered the correct way, because that would have been a bummer for sure. That would have been a bummer for sure. And if only I worked this fast in real life, man. But this is the kind of crafting that I really love. Just turn on the camera, turn on some, like I mentioned before, Emily D. Baker. I've been watching a ton of The Voice, like The Voice over in Europe, and just listening to music and stuff. So this is where I decide to switch things up a little bit. I put the ornament with the hearts. I just liked the color in that better. And then the Merry Christmas with the little log cabin on this plaid. I put the car on the argyle. The bear actually has a couple of different patterns. I don't have nearly as many as those as I had of the rest, and that's only because I made one with the bear, and then I realized it was all crooked, and I tried to pull it off, and it was just a big mess, and I was like, you know what? No way, no how. So now it's time for my little red bows. I am using glue dots to adhere this onto through the hole, so it actually attaches to the cardstock of the tag underneath. These are pre-made bows. Again, all of this stuff came from Amazon. You can just search for what you want. If you have plenty of time, you can also search AliExpress, because a lot of places, basically on Amazon, they're just reselling AliExpress. So here is a look at all of the cards finished. If you're interested, I will try to have these listed. Either they've gone up before this video did, or they are going to go live now. And yeah, I appreciate if you shop. You will find a link to my Etsy shop in the description box down below. I appreciate you if you are purchasing. It helps give me a little extra spending money. It helps go towards some of our bills, and it just helps keep the channel going. So I appreciate you. So here is a look at all the variations that are available. And again, isn't this paper cute? I kind of wish I'd used this one to begin with, but I didn't even realize I had it. Anywho, guys, that's it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate you. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you Wednesday for another video. Thank you so much. Bye for now.